Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching from. Welcome back to Cherry and Timber Talk. And guess what? The ICC World T20 is in full swing. And as you would have seen by the promos of our show today, we are going to discuss the so-called mother of all battles, India versus Pakistan. And, couldn't have a better day to have such a special guest amongst us. Sami Faridi, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much, Venu. I'm super excited to be here. Thanks, guys.
All right, awesome. So guys, just a small intro of Sami. Sami has played, a really good level of cricket, first class cricket in Pakistan in Karachi for Karachi Blues. Sami, if I'm right.
Yes, man.
That's right. Okay, and now he's a Canadian. He's also living in Canada. Pretty much, I won't say my neighbor, but yeah, he's kind of we played in the same club. And Sami has also represented Canada and three one-day internationals. So phenomenal achievement, Sami. Such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much.
And he's a left-arm Chinaman bowler. So yeah, I was just telling our guys before the show, and obviously Yogesh made a lot of fun of me. But then yeah, it's like I haven't faced Kuldeep Yadav in my life ever. But then if I could face an equivalent of him in the nets, that would be Sami because I could never pick him, especially his googlies and his Chinamans. So it's like extremely difficult to pick, right, Yogi?
You're a very generous man, Venu.
Yeah.
He
Also
needs he
tells you a
needs
lot
a
about my.
few he needs a few tweaks in his technique to play spin, I believe.
Or maybe
But
a couple of more pair of eyes.
yeah. It's been a work in progress throughout his career. So now he's
That's why
probably
we
a
are here.
coach or something. Now that he's given up his hopes of making it as a player, he is a player, but in a slightly different way, I think now.
Yeah, talking is much easier. That's why we are here. All right. So, Sami, what's your take on this contest? Obviously, we have seen a lot of stuff happening with Pakistan cricket of late. Some of them on the field, off the field as well. But obviously, it's been a bit of a turbulent time in the last couple of months for Pakistan cricket. But then we also had your national T20 competition, in which I believe there was a lot of talent which was unearthed, as well as a lot of these pros who were in form. So, could you tell us about who are the players to watch out for, whom we probably do not know that well?
So, Venu, looking at the Pakistani squad, I mean, in the last, I would say, 5 or 6 years, I've been noticing a lot of changes, lots of ups and downs. I mean, in lights of people like Iftikhar Ahmed was, put in, then, Asif Ali was in and out. Azam Khan, they tried, they even threw him in the World Cup squad as well. But then took him out. So many changes happened very recently in Pakistan squad. Uh,
Hmm.
Chairman changed, Ramiz Raja, right? Became the chair. Wasim Khan, the CEO, he stepped down. Misbah out, Wakar Yunus out, Hayden Philand. So many changes, and just before the World Cup, not an ideal situation for Pakistan, to be really
Hmm.
honest with you. Um, Lekin, I would definitely say that the pick that they made at the end was
Hmm.
probably the best Pakistan squad that could have been made in these situations.
Hmm.
Oh, that's
Um,
Interesting.
yeah. I mean, it's they were talks that I mean, elephant in the house, Shoaib Malik, right?
Hmm.
Should he be in the squad? Should he not be in the squad? Right? I mean, he hasn't been playing for Pakistan for a little while now, right?
Hmm.
However, he has been playing everywhere else. I mean, CPL,
Yeah.
he's a regular,
mm,
Bangladesh Premier League. He's been playing all over the world
yeah.
in
Yeah.
T20s. So, and his expertise, and his experience, I think, is very much required in the Pakistani squad right now.
Mm,
So, I mean,
Hmm.
including him was probably a very good decision in my opinion.
mm.
Interesting. Yeah, I was about to ask you the same question about Shoaib Malik in specific, right? In terms of there was a lot of again, there's a lot of division in fans, I suppose, when it comes to his selection in Pakistan as well. I believe a lot of them are against his selection, a lot of them are for his selection. So I mean, it was an interesting one for me for sure because he's been around for a long time for sure.
Yeah, I think he's if I'm not mistaken, I mean, he's the only, or him and Hafiz are the only ones who've played all the T20 World Cups since they
Hmm.
started, like 2007. So
Yeah.
huge achievement. Um, he's touching 40, I think, or he is 40 right now. Um,
Yeah.
However, probably one of the fittest
Yeah.
people in the Pakistani squad still.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And kudos to him. He's been maintaining himself, right? Uh,
Yep.
you can see a little bit of Hafiz, slightly dying off. However,
Mm-hmm.
Malik has been, in top-notch fitness and stuff. So I think he deserves a spot. I think
Yeah.
him and Hafiz, both of them need to go out from the Pakistani squad in a good way. And I think the World Cup is probably one of the steps for that.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, this selection, if I could say, we can't hear you, Mahesh. Uh, are you on mute, Mahesh? Sorry, I can't hear you. Uh, no. Can you hear him, Yogesh
Nah.
or Sami? Okay.
No, I
Mahesh,
can't.
maybe you might just want to join back in. Just join back in if possible, Mahesh. Nope. Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, while Mahesh joins in, Yogesh, that, this selection of Malik is quite similar to, what happens probably in India nowadays. A lot of these T20 specialists are
Yeah.
selected on the basis of IPL performances, right? So
Yeah.
that's quite similar here as well in terms of how Malik has been playing around the world, like Sami mentioned, right?
But
And now that has actually had a huge impact on his selection.
and I think that's also important, isn't it? Because when these guys
Yep,
play in these different leagues, they acquire that experience broadly of speaking with some of the top players in the world. And now I
yep,
feel because of the situation Pakistan cricket team finds itself in, it is
yep,
important for them to have these players who've had that broad experience. Now, you might talk about team combination and whether a selection of that nature is fair on others or not. But when you're going into a competition of this importance, I'm sure the selectors want to make the right decision, making sure that they've got the personnel who can perform on a big stage like that. And I think he's a proven performer. So I think just based on his skill and his performances and potential, I think his selection should warrant no debate whatsoever. And considering the
yep.
kind of tournament it is, right, I feel his experience is going to be invaluable for that team.
Absolutely. Mahesh, can you?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. All good, all good.
Yeah, I think the inclusion of Mohammad Hafiz and Shoaib Malik has given a lot of depth in the middle order. I think they were very inexperienced in the middle order. With these two guys coming in, I think it'll serve Pakistan cricket, very, very well for this World Cup. Because, like what
Hmm.
Sami said, that Shoaib Malik has played all the T20 World Cups. He was a captain, in fact, in the inaugural World Cup. He was the captain.
Yep.
So he's got the experience. He's played around the world. And I think that experience was lacking because Pakistan was a relatively young team without these two. And they also bring the spin part into the game, which is very
Yep.
important. At least in Dubai, if you see, the
yeah,
spinners
yeah,
are going to play a big role as the game progress, as the tournament progresses. Now, two spinners, both very wily, very experienced. I think Pakistan has got a big advantage because of these two coming into the team. That's how I see
Hmm.
their inclusion to be.
Absolutely. Is Shoaib Malik bowling off late, Sami? I haven't
Um,
seen him bowl
on and
that
off,
much.
on and off. I mean, he's been on and
Okay.
off for a few years now. I mean,
Hmm.
when required, he will step in. Um,
Yep.
However, I mean that experience can kick in anytime.
yes,
As you guys
Yep.
can know, like it's when required, and when the crunch time comes in, these guys
Yep.
definitely have the tendency to deliver.
yeah,
Yep.
Again, again. So I think, as Mahesh even mentioned, I mean, middle order has been our issue for the past few years. They have been trying and testing a lot of new faces and stuff, but
Yep.
nothing of that sort is just coming out. You know,
mm,
Hmm.
I think उसके दो तीन reasons होते हैं. I mean, I think few reasons could be कि यार Pakistan national T20s, right? The competition
Yep.
there, the bowlers, they are well off at a domestic level, I would say,
Yep.
but that exposure of international level is a very
Yep.
different ball game, um,
Yep.
and the quality of the bowling is probably not at par to international cricket over there,
mm,
you know. So the middle
Hmm.
order can probably perform over there in Pakistan, right? But when that middle order is exposed to international bowlers, right, that middle
Hmm.
order is not at par, in my opinion.
That's a
If you
great
look at,
point. Yep.
if you look at the rest of the world, I mean,
yeah,
in T20s, leagues like IPL, Big Bash, CPL, all the players which are integrated together and playing together now, right? They are playing with international cricketers, right? Unfortunately,
mm,
Yep.
Pakistan Pakistani domestic players are not, out there. And this is what,
Yep.
my wish would be, that, Rami Raja as a cricketer, he should understand that it's so
Mm.
important to send these cricketers to, domestic cricketers. I'm not talking about national cricketers, but domestic cricketers,
Yeah.
to give them international exposure, right? I mean, fit
Mm.
them in Big Bash, fit them in CPL, fit them in not just that international caliber cricketers,
Yep.
even all the small little domestic cricketers as well, so that your future generations are getting ready for
Yep.
international cricket. Very
Mm.
important, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, good question here. What are the chances both of them are going to be picked in the playing 11?
Oh, they are. They will be, both of them. So
Mm.
Okay.
that's, again, this
Interesting.
is my 2 cents. I think both of them will be picked
Mm-hmm.
in the middle order. I think it's very
Yep.
very much required,
Yep.
especially in the crunch games. And Pakistan, both the games Pakistan have to start things off with is Pakistan India and Pakistan New Zealand. Uh,
Yeah. Both are
Top
tough
notch
games.
games.
Yep. Yep.
And the chatter around in our community is that Pakistan India is the biggest rivalry, of course, but after what happened, I think New Zealand has become a bigger rivalry than India Pakistan now. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so
Yep.
those two games are
Yeah.
going to be top notch crunch games. I don't think Pakistan should take any chances. I think both these
Yeah.
guys should be included in the playing 11.
Interesting. You brought out New Zealand. Sorry, go ahead, Yogesh. Yeah. Make your point.
Yeah, I mean, again, I understand how you put it, but I'm just thinking, do you really believe New Zealand and India should be the focus for the Pakistani cricket team going into the tournament of this nature? Do you think something of that nature actually puts additional pressure on players and could unnecessarily be a distraction?
Yogi, what I have realized in Pakistani cricketers, right? I mean, coming from the domestic world for Pakistan myself, and knowing how the culture and how players are, and the passion and stuff, uh, we rely mostly on small little sparks here and there, right? I mean,
Yes,
it really depends on who has pinned us in which kind of way, and then how
correct.
did we show up to a cricket game. This is what Pakistani culture is, that you need certain things and certain events to happen for
Hmm.
us to come united, and all of a sudden come out in a furious way in a game. And this is how Pakistan has been always, if you
Hmm.
look at it, right? When a boring game comes in, I mean, I'm not going to say that boring game, but when a game comes in against some teams which are not at that level, Pakistan might be, it's going to be difficult for Pakistan to win that game, you know, but it
Hmm.
might become easier for Pakistan to win a bigger game. I'm not
Yep.
talking
Hmm.
about India Pakistan, because that's a different kind of pressure, but like something along the lines of New Zealand, what happened? New Zealand and England backed out and stuff, right?
Yep.
That kind of sparked Pakistanis quite a bit. I can tell you right now, because it's I'm talking the chatter is
Oh,
going on in the community and stuff, right? So, and certain decisions made, like bringing Shoaib Malik in, right? Bringing all the experience.
Yep.
Fakhar Zaman was in reserves before, bringing him in the squad all of a sudden, right? All
Mm-hmm.
these decisions, I think they were made because now they're like, okay, now we cannot take any chances. Now we have to go all in. I don't know
hmm.
Mm-hmm.
why these decisions are not made to begin with. I don't know
Yep.
why do we need a spark all the time, but
Yep.
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? Because they added Khushdil Shah, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he has been in the squad before as well, but again, has been performing at a domestic level, but international level, I haven't seen that
Yep.
you know
Hmm.
eagerness in him. If the Ahmed was in the squad, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but Azam Khan was in the squad. Azam Khan is untested completely, right? I mean, fitness has
Yep.
been an issue for him as well. So why put those players in a T20 World Cup squad, right?
Yep.
Just cause. But then
Hmm.
all of a sudden a spark happened. New Zealand, England backed down, and all of a sudden everyone got passionate, and now they're
Yeah.
like, oh no, now we have to send like the best 15-man squad. Why not from before? You know what I'm saying? So this is how Pakistan is. They need some
Yeah.
kind of
So
sparks here and there.
I'll
I
just ask
agree.
one following question to that then. It's great to know about the mindset that fires the team, etc., and they need a spark. Do you think there could be a risk of winning the battles but losing the war if that's how the teams are thinking all the time. That you might win an odd game here, you might put in a sparkling performance there, but is that the end all for it?
Yogi, I think that's the reason why we've been an unpredictable team ever since. I think
Yep.
that's the major reason why, because that's the mindset that
Yeah.
Yep.
it's a in my opinion, it's a lack of professionalism, and playing more on emotions and passion
Yep.
than
Yep.
Professionalism, and that's the
It's not a
reason why.
sustainable strategy, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why we are so unpredictable all the time. It
Mm.
really depends on which kind of Pakistani team showed up on which day.
Yeah.
One day they're gonna play as if no one can beat them ever, and the other day they can
Yeah.
lose to
Yeah.
literally any team, standing in front of them. So it's
Yep.
you nailed it. That's the
Yep.
mindset that we have,
Yeah.
Yep.
unfortunately, and that's
Yep.
why I think it makes us entertaining and makes us very, very unpredictable. So
So how
Absolutely.
do
A
you
lot
think
of
the
cheering
Pakistan
has
team
started.
will approach this game?
good question, Mahesh. I think it's a look. How I'm seeing this is India has been playing IPL in UAE, right?
Yep.
Mm.
So India is very close to how things are over there. However, in the past 10-15 years, Pakistan has been playing in UAE as their home country, literally.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
So no one, in my opinion, no one should know better than Pakistan how to maneuver
Yep.
around in these situations.
Mm.
Spin has a huge part in this, and I
Yep.
think India and Pakistan both will, have proper spinners in the team. Um,
Yep.
I think three spinners. If I'm not no exaggeration, this is what my belief is that India and Pakistan both will probably utilize three spinners each in these competitions, and then Pakistan's approach most likely will be bat first.
Yep.
See if we can consolidate a score. Score about 180, 200 runs, which I know India is a
Mm.
very tough opposition in this remark because their batting strength. Oh my God! Like it's you start naming the players from up top in Indian batting lineup, and it's
Yep.
just an endless lineup. However, again, it really depends on which kind of side Pakistan team woke up on the bed from. It's and which team showed up. So it'll be very interesting.
You're being too generous and too nice here, Sami. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't expect this from you.
But uh, Sami
So
bhai,
even I heard a lot of experts talking about this 180, 200 runs. Do you think practically it's possible to score 200 runs? The grounds are big, the spinners are there, the pitches are not that conducive to batting. I mean, from whatever we saw the IPL, I mean, I think there was no score in excess of 200 in the second leg. I mean, we always struggled to get 180. I think the highest was in the final they scored 170. So I heard some talk between Shoaib Akhtar and Harbhajan Singh where Shoaib Akhtar said 180, 200. Now that's a good number to talk about. We all know that once you
Yeah.
score 200, about 8 out of 10 times you will win that match. Okay. Now, the pitch conditions. I don't know whether if what we have seen during the IPL, if that is the pitch condition, it's going to be tough to reach 180, 200. Second, the spinners have come
Yep.
to play. It's just got hotter, so that means I'm sure that the pitch will start turning a lot more. So this 180, 200, don't you think it could be a low scoring match? And once it comes to a low scoring match, it can be really interesting.
It could be absolutely. I mean, it's. I mean, I was looking at Australia and South Africa. They're playing right now.
There it is.
Um,
Yep.
120 or something. South Africa was bowled out for. Uh,
119.
119, right?
118. Yep. Yep.
And even chasing that, Australia was struggling. They were 20
Yep.
20 for 3 or 28 for 3 or something. So I don't know what the score
So
is
just
right
a
now.
score update. Australia needs 19 in 13 balls with 5 wickets in hand. So that's a score
So it's
update.
not easy. So it's not
It's not
easy.
Yep.
it's not easy.
Yep.
Absolutely. I think it's
Yep.
more
So
of
Yep.
Sami, if it's a low scoring match, who would you back? India or Pakistan?
spin. I'm gonna back spin. So spinners I think have a huge role in these scenarios, and this is where,
Mm.
in my opinion, where Hafiz for Pakistan, being very biased here, where Pakistan
Yep.
and where Shoaib Malik and Hafiz, their experience, kicks in. They've played
Yep.
against India so many times, right?
Yep.
way more than any of the other cricketers in Pakistan
Yep.
team right now. And I'm pretty sure a lot of few of them haven't even played against India ever.
Hmm.
So this is where when the first question came in, Hafiz and Malik, are they supposed to be in? Both supposed to be in my opinion,
Yep.
especially for the first game. And this
Yep.
is where Hafiz, can be very very handy in
Yep.
coming into bowling and stuff because the wicket holds up in UAE. We all know that, right? Even if Pakistan, let's say 150 is 160s, that is also very very defendable. Um,
Yes.
Yes.
and Mahesh, coming back to that point, 180, 200 runs, I mean, that's more of a psychological number,
Hmm. Yep.
than a logical number, I would say. That, I think 160s is somewhere in the zone of, where the things can be very competitive.
Yes.
180, you're stretching a little, you're right.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
think if you see the World Cup final as well, right, with 2007, even 157 that
Yeah,
India scored was quite competitive, right? Because when you are playing that level, pressure gets to you, right? Even a 150 can look like a 180. Yep.
100%.
Yeah, Venu, high pressure
100%.
match. It's a high pressure
Yeah,
match.
and
India Pakistan is a high
this
pressure
is
match.
this is where
Uh, I think we're losing Sami. Oops. Yeah. Anyways, coming back, yeah, Yogi, you were saying something.
so if you target 200, this is the way you
Yep.
can actually, mess up your your batting innings. All of a sudden, things start going wrong. I think um,
Yeah.
that's honestly, I think something like a 150, 160 number is actually a good one to say. That's the minimum we're trying to aim at, and
Correct.
then
Right, right.
if it's 200, you're almost like setting yourself up for failure from ball one because then you're
Yep.
always thinking of how am I going to get 200, and then one mistake leads to another, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
And so
Yep.
yeah, and that I think wouldn't be sort of the right strategy to play with.
Correct. Agreed.
I also
So
believe
yeah,
that the 7th to the 14th over is going to be very critical for two reasons.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if the momentum would have been set in the first 6 overs because of the power play. If we start, I
Yep.
mean, if either of the team starts only looking for singles, which may be the
Yep.
right thing to do at that point of time, considering that, like what Yogesh said, there's no point in targeting 200 and then falling down to maybe 120, 130. Doesn't make sense. So 150 should
Yep.
be the way we should look at when they enter the ground and then assess the situation very quickly and send back the message to the dressing room that this is a 170 pitch or a 165 or a
Correct.
180 pitch, rather
Yep.
than to just aim for something which is too high and then fall very low.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's probably one, again, there's a lot of talk going around, Virat Kohli's batting form and stuff, right? And I
Mhm.
think the point that you made, Mahesh, I'm just thinking, that overs number 7 to 14, that's when you need somebody to maneuver the ball around, take those quick ones and twos. I'm just thinking Virat could be a perfect role for that
Perfect. Yeah.
period
So
because,
that is the reason why I think it's good if Virat comes to bat at number 3 and not open the innings. Because open the innings, I
yeah,
think Rohit and Rahul
yeah,
can do a great job. Okay, set the pace,
yes,
and then Virat just takes over.
Yeah.
yes.
Sorry,
Okay.
guys. Some connection issues.
That's
There was a
okay.
different,
Ravi.
there was a different person who joined before, wasn't it?
Different camera for sure.
All right. Yeah. So we were just talking about India, Sami, while you were away. Basically, yeah. So Mahesh was talking about over 7 to 14 being very critical in this format. Now that we've seen how wickets could be difficult, and it's not just about hitting and kind of scoring boundaries only, but also maximizing by turning the strike over and utilizing those opportunities to convert ones into twos and stuff. And that's where we were talking about our captain Virat Kohli because he's been kind of out of sorts for a while now. And yeah, for a player of his caliber, it's been a long, long time since he's created an impact in the last couple of years. So yeah, so that's going to be interesting in terms of how we look at the middle overs. And the problem there is his struggles have predominantly been against spin, and that's also been a big factor. Virat Kohli getting out to spin often. So that's going to be interesting. Before you leave, I know some of you have to leave in 5 minutes. I'll just have one more question for you, and this probably everybody can answer because it's a standard subcontinental question that comes to us always. Too early for Babar to take captaincy in all formats. The pressure could affect his batting. And this is how we look at captaincy in our part of the world, wherein it affects the batting, and obviously for bigger reasons because of the fact that there's so much of pressure. Being the national team's captain. So how do you take that? I mean, there's an open question for all three of you. Maybe start from Sami.
I think it's a good move. I think he's a young guy. If you need to give someone the captaincy, especially looking at the fact that who else is there in to back things up, right? I think he is a correct choice in all three
Mm-hmm.
formats. It needs to be the stabilization needs to be there in Pakistan cricket
Mm-hmm.
team, and which was definitely missing before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know why even Sarfaraz had some issues in the past, but I think the best combination that we had was the captaincy of Sarfaraz and the coaching of
Correct.
Mickey Arthur. That was probably the best uh, era of Pakistan in the last decade or two that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but now because we are done from that chapter, I think Babar Azam's pick was probably the right
Mm.
one
Mm-hmm.
for all three formats.
Interesting. Mahesh, what's your view?
Say, how do you pick a captain? You pick a captain first by ensuring the fact that he can come into the team on his own ability, either as a batsman or as a bowler. And there is no doubt that he walks into most teams in the world. So he's
Yep.
definitely there. He will learn the trade as he goes along. I mean, I know he's a new captain. He will make mistakes, and that is bound to happen for everybody. But I think he's got a good cricketing brain on his head. So so I think it's a good choice, and I mean, we will know about it. Maybe in a few years from now, we can discuss it whether he's turned out to be a great captain or he's just fallen away. I think with responsibility, there are some players who actually play much better when they're given the
Yep.
responsibility, and some people just crack. I think he's
Yep.
done so far. He's done pretty well, so I don't think there should be
Yep.
too much of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I
Yogi.
mean, I would. Sorry. I just wanted to mention and elaborate Mahesh's point as well, just to add a little more to it. I think the team also respects him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one, and that's probably one of the most important things. That a
Yep.
captain can have. The team respects him. The team is young. Malik and Hafiz, yes, those are the senior ones, but I think their time is up. So they probably after the World Cup or maybe early part of next year, they probably are done. Uh,
Mm.
Yep.
and after that, what do we have? We have all the youngsters. So
Yep.
Mm.
for youngsters, having a captain who is well respected, who is a top performer, and as Mahesh mentioned, that he can walk into any team in the world right
Correct.
now.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
then why not? Is my
Mm.
thing.
Yep. Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I think I was precisely going to talk about the same thing that for a long time, Pakistan cricket has needed a talisman who'll bring
Yep.
all the players together and build a solid unit for the future. We haven't seen that kind of leadership in a long time. We obviously know and remember the impact somebody like Imran Khan has had on Pakistani
Yep.
cricket, and you need somebody like that to actually become a strong cricketing nation. Now, unfortunately, while there have been great players who've come along, there hasn't been a strong leader of that sort. Now, in Babar Azam, they've got somebody who's extremely strong on cricketing skills. It'll, it'll,
Yep.
it'll obviously, be nice to see whether he can turn out to be just as good a captain. Now, I'll take the
Mm.
second part of this question. Is he the right choice for three formats of the game?
Mm.
And this, I think, also links a lot with the workload he'll be exposed to. Now, face the circumstances currently, Pakistan does not play a lot of cricket. Under that situation, under the context of not having an inspirational leader, Babar Azam looks to be a right choice. Given when the situation does improve, when Pakistan
Yep.
starts playing all three different formats of the cricket and starts accumulating match volume behind them, they'll realize that Babar Azam doing three roles is not the best choice, as India has found
Mm.
out with Virat Kohli
With
over a
Virat
period
Kohli.
of time. You might be a
Yep.
great batsman, you might be a great leader, but there are limitations to how much you can achieve when cricket starts being played all through the year, round the clock in different parts of the world.
Yes. Absolutely right. Yep.
True. True.
So before you leave, Sami, just one last quick question from the audience, and this is a genuine question. When we talk about technicalities, on an India-Pakistan match day, streets in India are generally empty. Is it the same there in Pakistan as well? I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
the
yeah.
answer is
We
yes.
we we I think we just are in different countries. I mean, the border is separating us. Apart from that, I think everything
Yeah.
else is probably
Yes,
the same kind of passion, same kind of emotions. Um, I mean, yesterday I was telling my friends that back in the days, I have put holes in a door and smash the wall and stuff. Like I've been in those situations back in the days myself. So it's exactly the same. What you guys experience is what we experience as well.
सामी भाई मतलब सही में टीवी फूटते हैं?
यार टीवी भी फूटते हैं यार, और लेटली जो है वो कुछ ज्यादा ही फूट रहे हैं क्योंकि यू नो we have been giving so many opportunities for salespeople to sell us more TVs, I guess. But hopefully that changes. Light banter. I think I'm being biased, but I think Pakistan's got this one, boys.
Oh well.
Oh, wow.
Okay, okay, all right. That's a bold
Should be a
prediction.
good game, isn't it?
So,
Should be a good game, I
No,
think.
it'll be a good
yeah.
game. To be honest, it'll be a good game. I mean, record-wise, I was reading some article. Seems like uh, Pakistan have lost all 5 T20 World Cup games against India in the past,
Yep.
and uh, and Babar Azam. I don't know if it's genuine or not, but Babar Azam's captaincy in T20 in the last 11 consecutive games, he's not lost. So one of the
Mm.
record needs to be broken tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Or a TV. Sorry.
on a TV, on a TV, 100%, 100%.
So the
You know,
TV
Before I
sales
go,
will go
wanted
up
to
in
know.
Pakistan.
I'm sorry.
TV sales will go up in Pakistan.
You think so? कहीं किसी एक मुल्क में तो बढ़नी है sales for sure.
it's
मतलब
it's a
कहाँ
great
बढ़नी है?
opportunity. It's a great opportunity for a brand to come up with an unbreakable TV, this thing concept. Especially
Listen,
with that for India, Pakistan.
1.5 billion people in India. It's better. Sales are gonna be better in India. So वहाँ पे
नहीं
बेचो वो
बट
ज़्यादा अच्छा है.
सामी भाई इंडिया में तो प्रोजेक्शन वाले टीवी आ गए तो वॉल पे प्रोजेक्ट कर सकते हैं.
हम
दीवार तो
तोड़ते
टूटने
नहीं है,
से
हम
रही.
टीवी नहीं तोड़ते, हम बहुत होशियार है.
हम प्रोजेक्टर तोड़ेंगे. And I
No,
was
no,
about
but
to say that ICC should rename. No, sorry, Pakistan should rename tomorrow's game as ICC Champions Trophy because that's where you guys have beaten us twice. That's the only
yeah,
ICC Championship
but
where you have beaten us.
but how many times are we, being Pakistani, how many times are we gonna go back and say the same words again and again? Because it's I think we need to move on. Personally, we need to move on. I think our problem is that we kind
Yeah,
of hold
yeah,
things
yeah.
from the
The
past.
past. Yeah,
People still talk about 92 World Cup, including myself,
yeah,
right? So it's
yeah,
because it's that was something which is very, very close to all of us, right? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
and I saw that World Cup live as well at that point. So it's
yeah,
we keep on holding those things back, but now I think it's for Pakistan. It's time to move on. Time to
yeah,
bring in some kind of professionalism. To be
yeah,
honest, and stop living in emotions, and don't look
yeah,
for those fire and sparks. Let's be professional. Go in the field.
yeah,
Play a game. It's at the end of the day, it's just a game. Yes, one
yeah.
team is gonna lose or win. However, whoever is putting in the fight, that needs to be shown on the field.
Mm.
And
सामी भाई
G,
I think ये जो आप बात कर रहे थे अभी that you need to go out and actually play. Maybe that is the reason why India has actually won last few games because Indian players have consistently maintained that we are not looking at Pakistan match as something more significant than other. While in Pakistan, we've heard how it gets sort of drummed up by politicians and whole lot. While Indian
Yeah,
cricketers are like, we want to go in, follow our process, do our bit, and come back. And maybe passion is a good thing, but too much of passion can actually end up harming. And I believe,
yeah,
that's where it really lies for Pakistan to kind of think that India is just another team, is just another match, and then approach it that way and see if they get different results at all.
Yugi, I think solid point, and you nailed it. And I think the reason for that is, in my opinion, is the lack of exposure for Pakistani cricketers.
mm,
Um,
mm,
I think when Indian cricketers in IPL, let's say, right? I mean, when they are benching with the lights of Brett Lee to like Dale Steyn, all AB de Villiers, right? And all the young cricketers, right? Who haven't even made a mark in Indian, international cricket as of yet. They're benching with these guys, right?
Yeah.
yep,
And Pakistani cricket, and this is where my first point. I don't know if you remember when I said
Yes.
that cricketers in Pakistan domestic who haven't reached
Yep.
international level yet, they need that kind of exposure, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that for them, India Pakistan doesn't become something out of the ordinary, which
Correct.
Yep.
right. So that when they start playing a lot of cricket, right,
Yes.
Yep.
internationally, they'll start realizing that okay, these guys are also humans, right? They can also make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
I mean, not taking nothing away from lights of Virat
Yep.
Kohli, Rohit Sharma, and I mean solid KL Rahul. Oh my God, amazing
Yeah.
players, right?
Yeah.
Super batsmen. But
Yep.
again, at the end of the day, they are humans, right? I mean, it's
Yep.
you can rate them anything else. So that lack of exposure is something that is still with us,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
that's why we keep on going back in time. That look what this is how we used to be, like what happened, this and that. So that's the probably the right time to move on from this, and probably the right
Yep.
time. That's why Babar Azam and the young squad of Pakistan is probably on the right track. uh,
Mm.
hopefully these guys can come out of it soon rather than later, but
Yep.
we can only hope. Pakistan is full of surprises, anything can happen tomorrow.
Absolutely.
But
I know
in
you have to leave, Sami. Yeah. So I know you had to. You had only 30 minutes, so we stretched you a little bit more. But
no problem.
before you leave, I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, it was such a wonderful conversation. And आप इस मौके पे आए हमारे शो पे, और ये मौका हम बहुत याद रखेंगे. And
I mean,
कल के
Yeah,
I mean,
मौके
we
पे
can
yeah,
we can meet him in the next.
you said mauka like a couple of times, like mauka se kuch yaad aata hai
Oh,
mujhe.
oh,
Sami,
अच्छा, oh,
Sami
sorry,
भाई आप भी
I didn't intend to mean that.
समी आप भी ना मौका देख के नेट्स में बॉलिंग डालो इसको, फिर इसको
I know,
जिताओ।
मुझे लगता है, it's
ये मौके आपको भी मिलेंगे बोलो।
no, but before I leave, thanks for having me, guys. Before I leave, I wanted to know, like, I mean, even from Indian perspective, I wanted to just know, आप लोगों का, what do you think the playing 11 should be, especially going in the first game against Pakistan, right? Um,
Hmm.
I kind of know what Pakistan 11 could look like, right?
Yep.
In the first game, I think Pakistan is most likely going to start with, Babar Azam Rizwan to begin with,
Hmm.
number 3, Fakhr Zaman, right? 4 could be Hafiz, experience.
Yep.
I think they're going to fit in about Shoaib Malik on 5.
Yep.
6 would be Asif Ali, in my
Yep.
opinion. Um, I think they should play Haider Ali apart from Asif Ali, but they will still pick Asif Ali. I think.
Mhm.
7, then you come down to all rounders that we have, like Imad Wasim,
Shadab.
Shadab.
Yep.
Hassan Ali can hit a bit, right?
Yep.
And then the 2 pacers, which is Shaheen
Shahin
and
Shah.
Haris
Yep.
Rauf.
Yep.
That's my playing 11 for tomorrow.
Yep.
Um,
Quite
India, I'm
predictable. Yep.
seeing,
Yep.
right, quite predictable. India, I'm seeing, starting with KL Rahul, right?
Yep.
Rahul with Sharma,
Rohit Sharma. Yep.
3
That's right.
Kohli, right?
Yeah, I think
Uh,
it will be interesting whether this will be 3 Kohli or Surya Kumar Yadav. I think it will be Kohli, right, guys?
Yeah,
I
Kohli,
don't think
Kohli.
they'll change it.
I
Yeah.
haven't.
Then
Yeah,
4, maybe Surya Kumar Yadav 4, guys.
Yeah.
yeah, Surya
Four will
probably.
be, yeah.
and
Yeah,
then
and
then
then I
Pant,
think Pant, absolutely Pant. Yep, it has to be.
right?
Unless
5.
we spring up a surprise and bring in Ishan Kishan along with Pant. I don't know. I mean, because he's also
Yeah,
in red hot form right now.
could be.
You know what? Also, it could be that if the openers bat beyond the power play, Kohli might
Yep,
be tempted to send somebody like Surya Kumar at 3 for the simple reason that
yep,
he's like AB de Villiers. He plays around the wing, I mean, all around the ground, right? And so
yep,
what happens is like we were talking the overs between 7 to 14, which is the most critical. He might be able
yep,
to generate more runs than Virat because
yep,
Virat is more of the singles and twos. This guy is a very innovative player. He can play the lap shot,
yep,
and so probably you don't
yep,
know. He might just throw in a surprise by sending in Surya Kumar at 3, and then he'll hold back himself to 4, and then Rishabh at
yep,
5. Probably,
yep.
uh, probably
Hardik
Hardik at
Pandya.
6. Yeah, Hardik at
Yep,
6.
Hardik,
yep.
Jadeja at
I
7.
Jadeja.
don't see Hardik
Uh,
playing tomorrow.
Oh
No,
yeah,
You don't see?
I
Is it?
nah, I don't think he's playing tomorrow. No,
Wow,
they
that's
might
a
fit
bold
in
call.
somebody like Ravindra Jadeja instead of Hardik if they have to.
Oh,
Because
Acha, I
yeah,
was
Jadeja
Jadeja
is
would
anyway
definitely
be
go
there.
on.
I was thinking along the lines of your three pacers. Three pace option could be Hardik.
But he's
Bu-
Not
not
bowling.
bowling that much,
He
No
Sami.
can't
bowling.
bowl.
oh,
He's
he's
not
not bowling
bowling
that
these
much.
days.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
then I would agree with Yogi. I mean, it's if that is the case, then I would agree with Yogi because
yeah,
I was thinking of him as the third kind of seamer, right?
yeah,
But if he's not bowling that much, then yeah, I don't
yeah.
see his
It's
spot in the
In
team.
fact, I
also
might
he's
just
not.
play Shardul Thakur instead of Hardik
True.
directly.
Yeah,
Possible.
Yep,
Yeah. He can
yep,
bat a
Hardik
bit
yep,
also.
Hardik hasn't looked in
yep.
very good touch with the bat, and I think
Not
that's
correction, Mahesh. Not bat a bit. You are insulting the Lord.
See, he's going to
Bat a
come in the
bit is
last two
very.
overs only, any which ways, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's put it
But I
this way.
think
We
We
don't
got
if
want to.
three pace bowlers and two spinners, probably. That's how we
yeah,
might enter the
I'm
match.
actually interested to see whether they'll play Varun Chakravarti instead of Ashwin. I'm just really interested to
They
see.
would. I guess they
Is
would.
Chahar gonna play tomorrow?
No, I don't
Chahar
think so.
could, but I'm just
Probably not.
thinking if they're playing two spinners, they might play Jadeja and either Ashwin or Varun
Chakraborty.
Chakravarti. Or if it's
Varun
a bold call,
Chakravarti
like
for
you
the
said,
sim.
Sami, yeah, yeah. If he says
No,
three
Varun
spinners, then they
Chakravarti for
might
the
play all
simple.
three. Yeah,
Varun
he's a mystery
Chakravarti,
bowler. Yeah,
because the Pakistanis haven't played him so far and he's a mystery spinner.
correct,
How much ever you see
correct.
the videos, I think till you see him, you won't be able to pick him because somebody like Dhoni struggles to pick him. So which means he's
Yep,
got something which is out of the ordinary. So probably
yep.
yeah, it's good shock value to throw him in the midst in the first game. At least it's a crunch game. They would want to win this game. So I think
Three
Varun
spinners? You're going
Chakravarti
in with
would
three
play.
spinners?
I think they'll go
They
with
will
two
have.
spinners and three pace bowlers.
Oh,
Yep,
there
yep.
might be an all-rounder who might bowl spin, I think, so they might have like two specialists and one somebody who can turn the arm over as well.
I
So
think
Um,
here's a
it'll
quick question.
it'll be a game
Here's a quick
changer.
question. Yeah, here's a quick question for you guys. Shami has been in great form. Bhuvaneshwar has not. So will you play him and Bumrah ahead of Bhuvaneshwar Kumar? I'm just thinking.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I think
Yeah,
with the
because
hard
Bhuvaneshwar is a
target,
T20 specialist. Yeah, correct.
he is, but he's bowling well, isn't it? So whoever is
Yeah,
bowling well, and
yep.
they might play Bhuvneshwar as well, but not Shami and Bhuvneshwar in the same match for sure.
Together, exactly. I think
Yeah,
Shardul has to play in that scenario
yeah.
ahead of either of the two. I think that's what I'll see.
The biggest
Yep,
thing with Shardul has been his ability to break the game. I mean, the way he gets
yep.
the wicket because you don't
In the
expect
middle
him
overs, especially. Yep,
you don't expect
yep,
him to, yet he walks away with those wickets. There's something about the way he bowls. He always ends up in wickets,
yep,
and I think you
yep.
you do need that in a T20 game, isn't it?
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Sami. As you can see, that we have problems aplenty when it comes to selection, right? So that's a good headache to have as
But
well.
that's a very good headache to have because
Yeah.
unfortunately we are not, blessed with these kind of headaches. I mean, my
So
playing 11 was
it's
pretty simple.
actually good both ways, if you ask me, because when you know that this is what we have and this we have to do, whatever we have, what we have, right? So that's kind of becoming an easier selection, thing, and the players know what they need to do. Whereas
Mhm.
here also, like I said, it's a good problem to have, but again, there could be confusion in terms of what should be the strategy as well. So it kind of works both ways. So it's an interesting one.
I think there are a couple of Indian players, or actually more than a couple in this squad, who has never played against Pakistan as well, right?
Yep,
Hmm.
yep, that's right.
So
Uh,
never have faced that kind of pressure or something.
Pressure.
But
Yeah,
again, this is where the nerves, will kick in. Where the
yeah,
exposure, as I was mentioning before as well,
yep,
will come in, and then I think
yep,
India definitely has the upper hand tomorrow,
yep.
without a doubt. Uh,
Hmm.
However, I think given the venue that we are playing in, um,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
Pakistani, looking at the Pakistani squad, um, I think it'll be a good game. Uh,
Mm.
I'm hoping for a good game. Lately, जो games हो रहे हैं पाकिस्तान इंडिया के one side हो रहे हैं either way, majority of them
Yeah.
on Indian side, but
Yep.
even जो Champions Trophy जो start हुई थी, Pakistan first game जो है Pakistan lost, like one
Yep.
sided game. Final was a one
Yeah.
sided game, right?
Correct.
Yep.
So lately seems like pressure जो है कोई एक टीम जो है वो नहीं संभाल पा रही है,
नहीं ले पा रही है. Yeah.
नहीं ले पा रही है,
So
तो
when you say close game, I'm hoping for a double super over.
I really hope not, man. It's a
I mean, you don't want to send ambulances flurrying on the streets that day.
yeah, no,
Correct.
that's too much. That's too much.
It should
I
end in
mean, it's
40
a
overs.
yeah, it's a
Yeah. All
but
right, guys. On that note, yeah, I think Sami, thanks a lot once again for joining. And I mean, it's such an interesting discussion here. And trust me, it's always good to hear the other perspective as well, because when we have these kind of shows, it could be always just about one particular team. But today we kind of spoke about both, and we could hear the perspective from across the border, or I wouldn't say across the border for you because we guys are in the same country, but
From the same street you meant, right?
yeah, yeah, I'm closer to you than Pakistan right now. So
across GTA, if I could put it that way.
yes,
All right, guys. So yeah, looking forward to tomorrow's game once again, and yeah, I think we should be chatting after the game and seeing whose predictions came right. So yeah. All right, guys. Have a great Saturday, and looking forward to tomorrow's game. And yep, we'll catch up once again next week with some more content. Thanks. Bye
perfect.
bye.
Thanks,
Cheers.
guys. Take care.
Bye bye.
Have a good
Yes,
one.
bye.
Bye bye.